Every single day, there are these invisible systems making huge decisions that can affect your job, your finances, and yeah, even your freedom. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain on this hidden world of surveillance using real, documented stories. And we're going to kick things off with a number that, well, it just might shock you.
More than half, just think about that for a second. More than half of all American adults have their faces stored in a law enforcement facial recognition database. And the crazy part? The vast majority of them never consented. Their photos were just scraped right off the internet. And that's exactly why we need to get a handle on how this hidden surveillance really works. Because the consequences, they aren't some abstract idea. They have a very real impact on your privacy, your wallet, and like I said, even your freedom. To really get the impact, first we have to understand the infrastructure. It's this massive, interconnected web that operates almost completely out of sight. And right at the center of this web, you'll find companies you've probably never even heard of. They're called data brokers. You can think of them as the invisible collectors of our digital age. See, they don't make products you can go out and buy. Their product is you. Or, to be more specific, it's a super detailed profile about you pieced together from thousands of different sources. So, how does this actually work? It's basically a pipeline. It all starts with what they collect: your purchase history, your location data, your browsing habits, everything. But they don't just stop there. They use all that raw data to create entirely new assumptions about you. Things like a health vulnerability score or a prediction about your financial stability. And that is the product they sell to marketers, to landlords, and yep, even to government agencies.
And this is where we get to the human cost. Because this isn't just about data points sitting on a server somewhere. When these systems get it wrong, and they do, the consequences can be absolutely devastating. And these are real documented cases we're talking about.
Just imagine this. You're at home with your family, and suddenly, the police show up and arrest you for a crime you've never even heard of. Well, this actually happened in Michigan. A man was held for 30 hours, his whole life turned completely upside down, all because a facial recognition system incorrectly matched his driver's license photo to a really grainy security camera image of a shoplifter. And look, this wasn't just some one-off failure. It actually reveals a really disturbing pattern. The algorithm suggests a match. Then the officers fall into what's known as automation bias. Basically, they put way too much faith in the technology. They end up skipping crucial investigative steps, and it leads straight to a traumatic, wrongful arrest. And it all often starts with a fundamental flaw in the tech itself.
And here is that critical flaw laid bare. These systems are not equally inaccurate for everybody. The data shows they are far, far more likely to misidentify women and people of color. We're talking error rates up to 100 times higher for darker-skinned individuals in some studies. This isn't just a technical glitch, it is a recipe for injustice.
But the impact isn't just about law enforcement. Oh no, it's also hitting you right in the wallet. The next time you're at the grocery store, the price you see on an item might actually be different from the price the person right next to you sees. It has a name. It's called surveillance pricing.
And here are some real, documented examples. One retail chain identified expectant mothers through their purchase history and data broker profiles, then jacked at the prices they saw for things like diapers and formula. Another targeted fitness buffs with higher prices on protein powders. It's a system literally designed to extract the maximum amount of money from you, based on a deeply invasive profile of your life. So, you're probably wondering, how is any of this legal? Well, the simple and kind of scary answer is that for the most part, it is. The technology has just raced so far ahead, but the laws that are meant to protect us, they've pretty much stood still, creating this unregulated digital frontier. I mean, look at this. When it comes to protecting your most personal biometric data, we're talking your face, your fingerprints, the legal landscape is a total patchwork. You've got only a tiny handful of states with comprehensive laws. The vast majority offer virtually no specific protections whatsoever. What this means is your fundamental privacy rights literally depend on your zip code.
And this surveillance, it isn't deployed equally, not by long shot. Data from multiple cities shows that camera density is 2 to 3 times higher in predominantly Black and Hispanic neighborhoods. This creates this really dangerous feedback loop. More surveillance leads to more policing, which then is used to justify, you guessed it, even more surveillance, all in already marginalized communities.
So this brings us to the core debate, right? Proponents of these technologies, they argue they're crucial for public safety, helping to identify suspects and prevent crime. But on the other side of the coin, civil liberties advocates are sounding the alarm. They warn about the dangers of mass surveillance, the potential to chill free speech, and something called mission creep, where tools approved for one very specific purpose are soon used for, well, pretty much everything else.
But people are fighting back. As awareness of these harms has grown, so has this incredible movement of advocates, lawmakers, and everyday citizens who are demanding reform and accountability. One of the most powerful models for reform actually comes from Illinois. There's a law there called BIPA, and its power is really in its simplicity. It gives rights back to the individual, it requires your written consent, it prohibits companies from selling your biometric data, and this is the most important part, it lets you sue companies that violate the law. This thing has real teeth, and it led to a massive $650 million settlement against a huge social media company.
And at the local level, a different strategy is taking hold. Cities are passing what are called community oversight ordinances. These laws basically just say that the police or other city agencies can't just go out and buy and deploy new surveillance tech in secret anymore. They have to get public input, and they have to assess the potential for harm first. It's about bringing some democratic accountability back into the process.
Ultimately, this whole entire fight for privacy can be boiled down to this one simple, really powerful idea from the source material. Your face belongs to you. It's not a commodity for some corporation to sell. It's not a data point for a government to track without cause. It is a fundamental part of who you are.
And so this leaves us with a really critical question for our future. As these technologies become more and more a part of our daily lives, just sort of blending into the background, we have to decide what we're really willing to give up. What's the right balance between security, convenience, and our fundamental right to privacy? Because that's the trade-off we are all making, whether we know it or not.